What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week in Review, where I recap everything that happened this week in Raw, NXT, and Smackdown. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. I think I got them all. Social media is down there. So yeah, I'm just gonna jump right into it. Got a lot to talk about. Let's go to Raw. So we started out on Raw. Seth and Murphy out to the ring. We get a health update. Basically, he'll make a full recovery, so it's kind of, anticlimactic that he lost an eye. We get some shame chants, like Game of Thrones. The image of what happened will stay with Seth forever. It is funny that he goes, saying that he's being asked if he regrets it, but he asks a question to the WWE Universe regret for what they had him do, because they're the ones that basically forced him to act that way. They wanted him to be the heel, then he was the heel, and now everyone's complaining. No one left to stand in his way. Then Aleister Black's music hits. Once again, Aleister just being the proxy for Ray for no reason. It's all on Seth's hands. Murphy goes up the ramp. He gets taken out. Back in the ring, but Murphy pulls him out of the ring. Black destroys Murphy on the outside. We then get Black versus Seth. We get a fight on the outside. Aleister's in control. Black misses and hits the post. Seth takes advantage. Sling blade when they're back in the ring. Murphy gets Black mass in the ring. The ref is being pretty lax about this, even though because Murphy didn't make any connection with Aleister. Aleister was the one that hit him. We get a Black mass attempt. He misses it on Seth. Seth hits 2 super kicks. Seth more damage to Black's arm. Hits the stomp for the win. So this is, I think, only the second time he's taken a pinfall loss in forever. But at the same time, it's the way they've been so lackluster about Aleister Black. You almost forget about that. We get a post-match beatdown, and he goes after the arm. So I don't know if this is setting up some kind of issue with Aleister, which is going to be annoying. Like every match, his arm's going to be hurting. We get backstage with MVP and Lashley. Ron Simmons is out there saying that there's another way. I'll talk about that in a little bit. Truth is out with a frying pan. Says it's a nice replica belt. He's making fun of MVP. He's invited out there, but he doesn't want to be put in the Nelson from The Simpsons. Lashley says, no, I meant the new 24/7 champ. Shelton comes out of nowhere with a big boot, rolls him up. So now Shelton is the new 24/7 champ for the win. We then get MVP, Lashley, and Shelton out to the ring. Starts calling Ricochet and Cedric dumb and dumber. And then Ricochet comes out, that's the best you got. He's MVP says, yo, you can pick whoever you want, to face us. And he said, no, you can pick whoever you want to face us. Ricochet comes out and says, no, we got a third partner. And apparently we can put away the milk cartons and the keyboards. It is Mustafa Ali making his return since last year. I think this is his first match in 2020, which I think is absolutely ridiculous and horrible. Maybe he's the hacker, maybe he isn't. I don't know. I think they've kind of gotten rid of that. So Lashley goes out to the ramp, gets super kicks by everybody. Lashley turns Cedric inside out, back in the ring. Isolation on Cedric. Hot tag to Ricochet. Quick tag to Ali. During the break, Shelton hits a V-trigger as Ricochet tries to springboard, which is pretty nasty. Lashley one arm slings Ricochet into the barricade. Ricochet hot tag to Ali. A rolling X Factor to MVP for a 2 count. Lashley catches Ricochet and Cedric on the outside. Ali, with just an absolutely ridiculous suicide dive, comes into frame. It was framed perfectly. Knocks Lashley into the commentary desk. MVP misses a boot in the corner. Ali hits a hanging neck breaker, and then a 450 for the win. So good to see that Ali is back. Also interesting because Ron Simmons was out there. There's been a lot of talk of a possible bringing back of the Nation of Domination. I don't know if they call it the Nation of Domination. Obviously, it was an ode to like Black Panthers. Just the way the climate is now, I don't know if you want to have them as the heel faction. So if you had the young and upcoming of Cedric, Alexander, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali as the Nation, that would be interesting. I did find it interesting that it was, everybody was centered in that one is minority wrestlers. Obviously, we've had a lot of questions about how the WWE feels about minority wrestlers not having many black champions or champions of any kind of descent other than white. So it was interesting to see this whole segment was just people of color. So, and if they're to bring in the nation as some kind of social commentary, that would be really interesting. My only issue is I just don't see WWE doing it right. I think that they, obviously they'd be very careful with it, and I'm sure the people involved would be, but at the same time, just with everything, even like the way Jeff Hardy and his drinking and stuff, while they're not exactly analogous, just when they try to hit sensitive subjects and very, politically correct or taboo subjects, they don't have the best track record for it. So, anyway, backstage Randy promo, moments to look back on, referring to when he gave Edge the concerto, not all of his other moments. All his friendships are done now. Backstage, we see the Raiders talking to Ron Simmons, which would be really interesting if they're to join the nation. I don't know if it's maybe like they're the next modern day APA or something like that. Big Show video package. Then we get a Christian interview from his home. He'll never look at Randy Orton or Flair the same way again after what they did to him. Shocking. Backstage interview with Bianca Belair. She shows up, shows out. Peyton shows up, shoots off at Sarah. Then Ruby shows up. Peyton mentions Liv, and it sets Ruby off. Belair gets in Peyton's face. Apparently Billie Kay was not there this week. Don't know why. They just said that she had stuff to do, which is very weird. Peyton versus Ruby. No Billie. Tom says Peyton informed that Billie was taking care of business elsewhere. So we got a leg lariat by Peyton. Double armbar on the ropes by Peyton. Peyton goes for the pin while grabbing the ropes. Ref sees it, and then Ruby hits the riot kick for the win. So this is like her first win in absolutely forever, and her first win against obviously the Iconics because they've just been kicking her ass. Backstage interview with Angel, Andrade, and Zelina. Angel being creepy as always, Zelina being a bitch as always. Street Profits attack from behind. Angel with a smirk on his face and looks like he's ready for it. So we get Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade, non-title match. Apparently Street Profits are the longest reigning Raw Tag Champs. I mean, that's so ridiculous. I mean, they spent 2 months with nonsense, not even fighting for the title, so I just find that ridiculous. It just goes to show, like, I didn't even remember. I thought they won just yesterday. Sometimes I even forget who the Tag Champs are. Angel Pants does his pants gimmick and super kick on Dawkins early. Hot tag to Ford. Tope con Hero on Andrade. Super kick by Angel to Ford in the corner. Ford gets the hot tag to Dawkins. He cleans house. Ford gets crotched on the ropes. Dawkins gets super kick. Angel gets knocked to the ground. Huge frog splash by Ford. Literally just ridiculous. I mean, I thought he was going to hit the ceiling. And then he also did a 180 to get a different angle for the win. So it was a clean win for the Street Profits, which is, usually you don't see this now, especially with tag champs like or champions in general. You always see them lose non-title matches and then most likely win the title matches. So it was nice to see. I don't think Angel Garza and Andrade lose anything, but I don't know how they view it. Backstage, we get Angel and Andrade talking. Zelina's mad at them, and everyone thinks obviously they're going to blow up like they've been doing, but they actually are on the same page, and they said they'll fix this, which is interesting. We get Bayley versus Kairi Sane, which, for all we know, and we've heard that this might be Kairi Sane's last match here in WWE. Sasha does a promo. Asuka was handed the title, and she fought for her. Ref was blinded, and someone had to officiate, according to Bayley. Asuka Kairi out. Asuka not ready for thieves, and then all of a sudden, Stephanie McMahon comes on the Tron. She says last night's match was a horror show. No one won that match. Next week is a rematch. Banks can lose via any means. Pinfall, submission, anything. Kyrie hits a head scissors, sends Bayley out of the ring. Hip attack against the ropes. Traps Bayley's arm. Bayley gets in control. Double stomp on Bayley. Hung up on the top rope. An arm flatliner by Bayley. We see Shayna looking on. She's been dominant, but still doesn't have a match, so she has a vested interest in whoever wins this. Bailey goes for stalling suplex, countered into a DDT, sliding forearm by Kyrie. We get a Kyrie back fist, an interceptor, insane elbow, and then the right arm takes time to cover. Bailey gets a foot on the ropes. We get an interceptor countered with a knee. Bailey elbow drop for a 2 count. Bailey goes for Bailey to belly, countered into a roll up, and for the win. So Kyrie gets the very rare pinfall victory against Bailey, which hasn't been happening. They protected Bailey a lot, but I thought this was great. I thought it was a great match. I don't think Bailey loses anything. Bailey's been absolutely tremendous. One of the best things on WWE TV. So it would be ridiculous for anyone to think otherwise. But yeah, it was great. I mean, usually on the way out, they have someone lose to put somebody else over, but. The other thing that I thought was interesting was Asuka did not go for her belt at any point after Sasha. I mean, the girl's holding her belt hostage, and as we know, according to Stephanie, nobody won that match, which means Asuka is still the champ. It's not like the belt is in limbo. Anyways. Okay, so we get Drew arrives to the building. Hold on one second. Sorry, this is unprofessional. So he doesn't feel great, but he's on his ring to discuss his future. We get an in-ring promo. Sorry. People are texting me while I'm trying to record. So Dolph was smart, but not good enough, as Dolph usually isn't. His music hits. He saw fear in Drew's eyes. Drew's just tired of him. Drew says no when he tries to ask for another match, tries to leave. Dolph grabs him, catches a headbutt. Dolph wants another match and gives Drew all the power, says you can pick the stipulation, whatever. Drew is convinced and accepts, and he will tell Dolph the stipulation right before the match, just as usual. Dolph is just annoying at this point. Who cares? I mean, he's a great wrestler when he wants to be, but everyone's just getting tired of it. We get a backstage promo with Show. Orton had a great year, talking about the past. Hammer and Chisel, they used to call each other. I don't know. We then get our unsanctioned match. This was an alright match. No flair. Even though, whatever. Show hits a spear on Orton and rolls to the outside. We get on Angel, Garza, and Andrade come out. They attack Show. They throw him into the post. Then the Raiders come out to even the odds, get them out. We get Orton tossed back into the ring when they're on the outside, over the top rope. Show goes for a Vader bomb through a table, but he misses. RKO, but Show kicks out. Orton with chair shots, draping DDT from the top rope, and then eventually hits the RKO for the win. And then he does the punt, talks trash to Show, and that is how Raw goes off the air. Alright, so now we have NXT. So we have Lee given time to address the NXT universe. Basically, he vacates the North American title. But I really enjoyed the promo because, his whole thing was giving opportunity. He received opportunity because he wasn't a self-made man. And him holding up both titles is denying other people the opportunities. So he says that he's going to relinquish the North American title and allow people to get an opportunity. And in the spirit of that, Regal says there will be a series of triple threat matches. The winners will face each other at TakeOver 30 in a ladder match. The first of which will be tonight with Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed. We get Loomis versus Dane. This is obviously set up last week when Dane asked Robert Stone to get him the match. Obviously, Stone came through. Loomis doing a lot of slithering around. He's thrown to the steps and he dives over them, which I thought was pretty cool. Showed kind of a lot of finesse there. Dane hits the fun splash though on the outside. Leg drop by Dane while Loomis was draped for a 2 count. Dane in control during picture-in-picture. Loomis is no-selling a lot of offense. Then he hits a spine buster on Dane. Big spine buster. Belly to back, a kip up, and then a twisting leg drop for a 2 count, all by Loomis. Loomis misses a top rope senton. Hits what's his name? Dane hits a shotgun drop kick, a cannonball senton, and then a powerbomb elbow drop for a 2 count. And then Loomis hits a side effect, goes for the top rope senton, then another side effect in the Anaconda Vice, and Dane passes out for the win. So this will be very interesting to see this feud, which obviously plays into the triple threat matches for the North American title. Backstage interview with Strong. Undisputed Era needs to get back on track. Bronson comes in, says that they've had enough chances. Johnny comes in, and just the two of them, him and Roderick Strong, going against each other. Like, oh, I hate you. Yeah, I hate you too. It looked like they were trying not to laugh. It was pretty funny. But he's going to be the North American champ again, according to him. We get a Dakota Kai cell phone promo. Happy to kick Io in the face again. We then get Everrise and Breezango. Breezango comes out in the Mounties gimmick, which is hysterical. Breeze fakes a bunch of super kicks to Parker. Martel is, chanting defense because Parker's trying to miss all these super kicks. Martel gets super kicked while he's on the apron. Fandango gets the hot tag eventually. He hits a Mountie dive onto the outside, basically just puts his hat on and drops down on them, kind of like a trust fall. Eventually, there's stereo super kicks for the win. So Breezango looking strong. Backstage interview with Dijak. He's going to be fresh. Yeah, that's right. That he wasn't fresh last week. So we get Aaliyah versus Shotzi. Stone can't get up the steps. Shotzi almost hits him again while he's on the steps with the tank. We get a cannonball senton against the ropes by Shotzi. Faceplant by Aaliyah to Shotzi on the outside from the apron, which is pretty cool. Suplex roll through to a Northern Lights by Aaliyah for a 2 count. Puts the camel clutch on Shotzi. Then does a reverse spling blade. Shotzi does a reverse spling blade. She does her question mark kick and then a side suplex. Aaliyah looked like she got spiked on her head, but only gets a 2 count. Pump kick to Stone on the apron. Senton from the top by Shotzi for the win. Shotzi then runs over his other leg, which I thought was hysterical. Then all of a sudden, Mercedes Martinez comes out of nowhere, blindsides Shotzi, and then stares Stone and Aaliyah down, but just leaves without really talking to them. We get a Swerve video package. He challenges Escobar for the Cruiserweight title. We then get our first triple threat match in the series. We get Gargano, Strong, and Reed. So Johnny and Strong fake getting in to take on Reed, which I thought was pretty funny. They both were trying to fake each other out who was going to get in. Reed just tossing everyone around. Strong intercepts Reed going for a suicide dive. Double T-bone Reed. Strong slingshot into Reed's nuts, which I thought was ridiculous. Johnny Gargano slingshotted him into Reed's nuts. That's basically it. Slingshot spear on Strong, suicide dive on Reed, draping double underhook backbreaker on Johnny Gargano by Strong for a 2 count, Olympic slam to Reed, Johnny covers for a 2 count, Reed with a plancha to the outside on both of them, hits a double Samoan drop on both of them, cover on Johnny for a 2 count, and then Johnny and Strong are fighting in the corner. Bronson Reed comes in, gets Johnny on his shoulders, and then then Strong goes to knee Johnny, but Johnny bends down, lunges backward to avoid the knee, and while he does that, he poison rounders Bronson Reed, which I thought was wild for a guy that size. Then Strong hits a rising knee, Johnny super kicks Strong off the cover. Johnny tries to powerbomb Reed off the apron, then Strong hits the knee, which then allows Johnny to hit the powerbomb. So Reed is out, he's off camera. Gargano escape, a roll-up, stronghold attempt. There's a bunch of pinning attempts, then a long dart into the middle turnbuckle, which looked rough. Eventually, Johnny hits one final beat on Strong, and as he's going for the cover, Reed hits a top rope splash that crushes Johnny's arm for the win. So the very surprising person to win this match, Bronson Reed, he will be going on to the ladder match. I wonder, I think they said about 5 matches. I wonder if there's going to be matches with people who had lost and getting like second chance. So we'll see about that. Thatcher versus Oni. This was just another wrestling clinic type match. This was actually not as good as the previous one. Eventually, Oni with the double wrist lock, and then Thatcher is able to pin Oni while he's using the double wrist lock on Thatcher. That was pretty much it. I mean, there was a lot of just, the usual stuff that you saw in the last match, so there's nothing really too much there. But now Thatcher's 2-0 on him. Get a backstage interview with Stone and Aaliyah. They send Mackenzie away. Mercedes walks in. She just wants someone to handle all the nonsense BS that she doesn't want to care about, but you better not overstep or you'll get your legs broken. And then Rob Stone agrees. We get a Finn video promo, next triple threat with Loomis and Thatcher and him, and he's dropping all kinds of wrestling lingo like he's been doing, which is a little weird. We then get the main event, Karrion Kross versus Dijak. Dijak goes for a feast your eyes right away, countered into a Saito suplex attempt. He blocks that. Big right sends Kross to the outside. Roundhouse kicks to the head, and then a DDT by Kross. Kross is completely in control during picture-in-picture. We get a Saito suplex, and then eventually Dijak hits the time to fly. Sit-down chokeslam on Kross for a 2 count. Tope con Hero by Dijak, and then he's set into the steps. And the way it goes is he falls, and the steps are like kind of pulled away from the ring, but just enough that Dijak's head can get fit in between them. And then Kross just kicks the shit out of those stairs. Looks like it might have broken Dijak's neck. Kross kind of pulls him lifeless into the ring, starts beating him. Lee comes down. Dijak says no to stopping the match. He says it's on him. And it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not the first one to admit this, but it's like Rocky 4, where, you know, Rocky, Keith Lee, is watching his friend Apollo Creed, Dijak, getting beat the shit out of by Dijak, Ivan Drago. So eventually he choked out in front of Lee. Dijak passes out for the win. Kross gets out of there. Lee goes to help his friend, and that is the end of how NXT goes off. Obviously, they're setting up Kross and Lee. Eventually, it seems like inevitably it's going to be at this coming, Takeover 30. And then what happened last night, this was an alright Smackdown. So we get a Jeff Sheamus promo. Hi, my name is Jeff Hardy. I'm an alcoholic. I mean, just ridiculous at this point. JBL says he'll save his predictions, but does drunk jokes, which I thought, like, that's just not appropriate right now. We're talking about a guy who is a, recovering alcoholic. But we see the personal bartenders back at whatever bar they chose. Sasha and Bayley come out. Sasha still has the Raw title. I don't understand why. The definition of greatness, they put a picture of themselves. Nikki's music eventually hits, and with she comes out with Alexa, and she's wearing the DDP rib tape. She wants a shot at the title right now. Nikki would get the shot if she beats Alexa Bliss. So she's setting it up like you think she's going to choose Sasha, like she always does. But no, once she said, former SmackDown champion, I'm almost positive that Sasha never won the SmackDown championship. It was all the Raw Women's Championships. So then, Bliss is like, we don't have to do this. And then she shoves Alexa and says, we have to do this. So then we get our match, Nikki versus Bliss. Sasha and Bayley on commentary, which was a little distracting, but I really liked this match. I thought they hit the beats right. I thought they told a great story in the ring. Cole says he's driving a wedge. He apologizes for trying to do that. It's very even to start, though. Bliss goes to slap Nikki. Nikki's pissed, like, you went to slap me? And she's like, you shoved me. So eventually she does get the slap. That pisses Nikki off. She goes off. They fight out on the apron. Alexa and Nikki take out Sasha and Bayley. Alexa going after the ribs. Alexa even saying sorry as she's doing it, so you can tell that she, feels bad about doing it. Tornado DDT countered by Alexa for a code red for a 2 count. Ripcord pulled down by Nikki for a 2 count. We get a reverse DDT by Nikki for a 2 count. Top rope crossbody missed by Nikki. The ref checks on her, and then while the ref is doing that, Alexa kind of takes a step back and then walks into a small package for the win. We come back from commercial, and Alexa congratulates Nikki, says that it's time to focus on Bayley. You got one over on me. I don't like it. I would have liked to have seen it in the ring. Maybe even Nikki goes to apologize to Alexa, and Alexa says screw you, what you did, but in the end Alexa does come through for her and help her out. I thought that would have been a little better of a storyline. Firefly Funhouse recap of Extreme Rules. Firefly Bray with the Fiend Lantern, but basically talking to it as if it was old school Bray and saying that you had your chance. So like the spirit of original Bray Wyatt, Waylon Mercy, Bray Wyatt is now in the Lantern, and the Fiend is out. Don't worry, the swamp is certified organic. I doubt that. Fiend has been unleashed, so we'll see what happens. Matt Riddle versus Tony Nese. Recap of last week. Hit some gun wrenches. Tries to goes for a Broton for a 2 kick. I mean, there's really not much here. He goes for a Bro Derek. Tony Nese counters it. Eventually, he does hit the Bro Derek for the match. For the win. He then does a post-match promo. Says he's calling Corbin out. Corbin out, his usual shtick. Says he's going to put a King's ransom on him. Should go back to NXT or even 205, basically putting them down. So great job, Corbin. So once the King's ransom has been told, Nese tries to attack Riddle, gets a kick to the face, and that's it. So we'll see how that goes. That might actually be funny. Miz and Morrison making fun of the Naomi hashtag, coming up with some of their own. They're all convoluted and ridiculous. So we then get JBL talks about the bar fight again, whatever his match question is or whatever you want to call it. He eventually picks Hardy. Miz TV, they have trend forecasters for Sick Rollins. That's their measuring. What do you call it? Their unit of measure is puking Rollins, which I thought was pretty funny. They bring out Miz and Morrison. More Morrison is the hashtag they eventually come up with for Morrison. They're dancing to Naomi's music, which I thought was really funny. They talk about how she's becoming like trending for just losing her, her return at the Rumble and then her match last week. She's saying that losing does make her sick, and they ask how sick, and they're looking to do the 5 Seth Rollins pukes. They bring out Lacey. Lacey says, "Have you ever got your ass kicked so bad that it was a pity hashtag?" She goes. Then Naomi hits her while she's putting on her makeup, and then sends her out of the ring. Miz and Morrison are dancing with her again. She's got lipstick all over her face. Recap of the tag team title match. Big E's outside the trainer's room. Kofi says he's going to be out at least 6 weeks. The universe is talking. Time for Big E. And I say it's about time. It does suck for the tag team division because, let's face it, New Day out. Then Forgotten Sons are forgotten. Heavy Machinery doesn't look like they're even a tag team anymore. Obviously, then you have Shinsuke and Cesaro. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really nothing, so... we get AJ Styles on commentary. I think a Big E run would be awesome. I think he deserves it. It's about time. He's always taking a backseat for everybody else. AJ comes out on commentary, and we find out that Gulak, Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, and Gable are going to have a fatal 4-way for a number 1 contender spot for the IC title, which makes 0 sense because none of them should even be in the ring with AJ Styles right now. But whatever. Essentially, Lucha House Party was kind of teaming up when they could. We'll get to the end. Side suplex with a bridge by Gable on Metalik for a 2 count. Gulak hits the Gulak on Gable, countered into an ankle lock. Lindsay with the splash on Gable for a 2 count. Lindsay does 2 moonsaults. Crotched by Gulak when he goes up again. Gulak dumped to the outside. Avalanche suplex on Lindsay by Gable. Springboard elbow by... And then while that happens, there's a springboard elbow by Metalik for the win. And so Grand Metalik is now the number 1 contender for the IC title. Okay. I think it's going to be a banger of a match because Metalik is really good, and so is AJ, obviously. AJ's in the ring. He puts his hand out, says if you don't shake it now, it's going to come out soon. So eventually he goes to shake it, gets a slap. Metalik does the slap. They kind of start to brawl and jaw at each other. So, and then while that happened, Metalik grabbed the title that AJ dropped when he got knocked out of the ring, which is like the ultimate mush job now. Not that he was going to win anyway. Backstage interview with Cesaro and Shinsuke. They're not sure what was more rewarding, putting Kofi through one table or the second table. So we'll see now what the tag team division holds. Is not much. Recap of Hardy Sheamus rivalry. Next week we're going to get the IC title match. Naomi versus Lacey. And then women's title Bayley versus Nikki. Woo-wee. And then we get our Main event, the cinematic match, bar fight, Hardy versus Sheamus. I gotta say, wasn't a big fan of this. It was alright. They're talking for a bunch before at the bar. Jeff Hardy does this really like, I'm one with everything. Even Sheamus was like, what are you talking about? So they fight. Then they fight to the bathroom. Jeff gets his face put in a urinal and flushed. Sheamus gets hit into a stall, which flushes. Worse for Jeff. Eventually, they fight out of the bathroom. He uses a ladder. So Jeff Hardy uses a ladder. Eventually, they get thrown into the to the band area. Sheamus misses with the guitar. He goes for a boot, and then Hardy uses a snare drum to block him, so his feet goes through the snare drum. Eventually, he takes out the bartender, Hardy does, and then he takes out what he thinks is Sheamus. Sheamus eventually is able to knock him out, put his hat on Jeff Hardy's face, drink a pint of Guinness, comes back, and Jeff Hardy's face is all painted like Brother Nero type. He does a quote-unquote swanton off the ladder that he had set up earlier, but you could tell there was probably, just by the angle, there was obviously some kind of crash pad or something below it. But Jeff Hardy gets the win. Yep. Yeah, so that was it. So that was everything from Smackdown and everything from this week. As always, I give my match of the week, and that is definitely the triple threat Gargano, Strong, and Bronson Reed. I thought it was great that they gave Bronson Reed the win. I'm not really that mad about it, even though I love both Strong and Gargano. I think it was a great match. I hope at least one or both of them get to stay in this tournament type style in order to get into the North American title match, because I think that would be pretty cool. Obviously, you want more star power, the better, but you don't want to just sacrifice all your upcoming talent. So that, once again, is everything. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. Hit me up. Let me know how I'm doing, or just want to troll me. I don't care. And yeah, so as always, stay safe, love each other, and bye now. I'm so tired. I don't know how podcasters do this. I'm barely even 50 podcasts in, and I'm exhausted. These are, whew, just trying to get through them. And it's also super hot, so that doesn't help as well. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I don't know why I'm complaining. Yeah, I like this stuff. Disregard what I'm saying. Yeah, disregard.